under bridges.
And so our strength, our chance to take the government back gets better and better the longer they wait. I hate to be giving them this advice, but I know they're smart. They've already figured this out, Bob.
Yeah, they sure have. And they've made a lot of mistakes. And things pop up every day, like these scandals with Madoff, and now it's all over CNBC this morning that Geithner's not making the decisions. Rahm Emanuel is, and of course he works for Israel as well as the president. And the people are getting sick of this. And then if you take away their freedom and you take away their ability to work and make a living and not have to live under some austere circumstances, you get the seeds of revolution. And I'll tell you something, I don't think we're going to be able to hold the people back. They're not going to get away with this.
Have you seen the new, speaking of the administration, the new People magazine came out with Obama's beauties, and they talk about how sexy and beautiful Rahm Emanuel is, how sexy and beautiful Geithner is. I mean, soon will these guys be like sitting on thrones in royal robes with crowns? I mean, and openly ruling us? I mean, how ridiculous is it that all these criminal oligarchs running our nations are just publicly robbing everyone right now? I mean, how much more degrading does it have to get?
I think it has to get a lot more on the psychology, because the American people don't want to really pull the trigger on their own government. They're thinking that they might have to, but it's very, very distasteful. I mean, even for somebody like me who's been in the trenches for almost 50 years. But economics, an empty belly, this is what's going to motivate people. People being told, well, your children have to go over that school over there in Chicago, and you're going to be in a camp in Arizona, and your wife's going to be working in New York City. I think finally they'll wake up.
And that's what they're announcing on the news. Oh, we're going to tell you where you work and what you do, and we're going to forcibly inject you. It's the new freedom for your safety. One person died, so America has to end.
You know, we were covering this in 1966, 67, and 68. All the plans were laid out then. It was called regional government.
And they now admit it is the regional governments that are in control and under the United Nations control. The Congress is ceremonial. I mean, it's in Reuters and AP that the UN is directing the U.S., Mexican, and other nations' responses. And the SPP documents for the North American Union came out, and they say they're going to use flu crises to bring in the NAU. They wrote that 3 years ago, Bob.
That's right. Hey, we got a war on a multiplicity of fronts. They're all over the place. I mean, you know, you look at my publication twice a week, the links, look at your site, the things that you've got on there. There's one problem after another. And, you know, we cover them closely, and we can't really even adequately cover them during the course of a week.
Hey, why do you think we got massive, sustained, multiple denial of service attacks over our CDNs at our servers? And then when we would switch out so they couldn't hit the servers, they would just hit the entire facilities, clearly governmental. I mean, doesn't the government know that just makes everybody want to visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com that much more? And that you know, basically underlines and certifies what we're doing?
It's an occupational hazard for them. And they think in their arrogance that they're more powerful and much smarter than we are, and the sheeple out there will listen to them and not us. The factor here, the swing factor, is the economy, which they have deliberately denigrated worldwide in order to bring about world government. But at the same time, when they do that, they bring people down to this savage level, if you may. And they know that they're creating a problem. Well, they're creating a condition that they want. It's just like interest rates. The Treasury needs them higher to attract more money, and the Fed wants them down so more people will buy houses. You can't have it both ways. And so the Treasury and the Fed are in a ringer, and so aren't the Illuminists behind the throne. They're in the same ringer.
And they know
Believe me, they're not going to have an easy time doing this.
Well, that's what we've been saying. And I said 2 months ago and then again a month ago, I see them playing the controlled bioweapon release, whether it's fear-mongering or the real thing, because that's the only thing. They don't have to blame it on men in a cave, and then the proof comes out it wasn't men in a cave. They can just say it naturally popped up. Oh, my God, we've got to take your rights to keep you safe from this. And then that becomes the news cycle instead of losing your job. And then it makes the government the savior who's going to hand out the Tamiflu and the vaccines to you and, direct the response. And I really think we're seeing what their response is going to be. And that, as Napolitano said, this is basically just the beginning. I think we're witnessing how they're going to come at us, Bob. And if we get the word out about how they're coming at us, that's going to give us a leg up on them.
That's right. And it may stop them from doing it. So we got to really pound on this and let people know. And all you listeners out there have to let all the people that you know that this is a scam. And this is what they're up to. They want to institute a bigger bomb later in the form of a real killer flu, and at the same time justify inoculations as well as herding people into camps.
Why didn't they just...
Those who aren't.
Yeah, why didn't they just release a regular flu? Why did they release one that's so easy to track that it's designer? Is that like an open threat to people that are informed?
They could have done something dumb too,
Yeah, that was dumb flying the plane to the middle of New York with F-16s 10 feet from buildings. Or was it dumb? Bob Chapman, stay there. The international forecaster. We got Alan Watt. I can't wait to get his take on all this coming up at the end after. Bob Chapman with us till then. I do need to, before we go back to Bob Chapman, theinternationalforecaster.com, get a free subscription there, invaluable information. To just remind listeners, I'm a filmmaker. I've written a book, published a book, carry a lot of other great videos and books. All the materials that I think are the most informative and the most dynamic and that'll wake people up are available at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. You can link through to our Yahoo secure online video and bookstore at Infowars.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Get the Obama deception. The Obama bots are finally starting to wake up. We point out in there that he was already protecting Bush on torture. Now they've heard about it in the news. They're seeing it. They're waking up. Give the Obama bots the Obama deception. Show it to neocons and say, oh, this is an anti-Obama film. It's also an anti-fake Republican film. They'll watch it. It'll break their conditioning. This is made so the people know who the real enemy is, the private offshore banks. The Obama deception.